Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man 2. I got my hands on it, been playing it a ton, and I'm really excited to get deeper and deeper into the game. But today, I want to go into what I think are the biggest improvements to Spider-Man 2 over Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. So let's jump right into one of the most anticipated releases of the year, Spider-Man 2 for the PS5. This isn't just any sequel. Insomniac Games has taken it up a notch in several different areas with some incredible upgrades that are set to blow your mind. I was worried that this iteration of the game would just be more Spider-Man, and to a certain extent, it absolutely is, but it manages to do so much more. So today, I'm going to go through what I think are the biggest upgrades to this game. First up on the list, let's talk about the incredible graphics and visuals and the ability to customize them to your liking. Spider-Man 2 on PS5 is an absolute visual feast. With this being a PS5 exclusive, it's not on previous gen consoles, so Insomniac was clearly able to do more this time around, and it's immediately noticeable. The developers have crafted a New York City that feels more alive than ever before. The attention to detail is astounding, from the intricate web patterns on Spider-Man's suit to the stunning skyscraper views and busy streets. The accuracy of New York City is absolutely incredible. I've been to Coney Island numerous times in real life, for example, and going there and perching up on the Cyclone in the video game and looking down at the amusement park, it's crazy seeing that all the rides and the layout of the amusement park are almost identical to the way it looks in real life. The attention to detail in this game is unmatched. It's absolutely wild. But I also want to touch on ray tracing. And we can't forget about the impact of ray tracing and how it affects the overall look of the game. Insomniac took the ray tracing up a few notches this time around, and the execution is really solid in my opinion. You can go to Digital Foundry and their video for really solid details on exactly what the upgrades are, but the game boasts stunning lighting and reflections that add a layer of realism to the already impressive graphics. There are various graphic settings as well for you to customize. A little hint here, right? A little nugget of information. If your TV supports 120 Hertz, activate 120 Hertz in the settings, change it to fidelity. This gives you 40 frames per second and all the visual improvements from fidelity 30 frames per second mode, with only a very minor hit to resolution in a few spots. To me, and in my opinion, this was the absolute sweet spot and plays so incredibly well. You get the best of both worlds from performance and fidelity. If you absolutely have to have that 60 frames per second, I totally understand. Performance mode still runs absolutely great. Next up on the list, we have combat mechanics. Now, I want to dive into the enhancements of the combat mechanics. One of the most exciting upgrades in Spider-Man 2 is the introduction of new combat moves and like web slinging abilities. I don't want to spoil any of the big upgrades and some of the things the combat adds in later in the game, but just know that the combat has become a little bit more intricate, and the new upgrade skill trees and customizations make for an experience that can be customized thoroughly to the player's liking. I also found the combat a bit more challenging and less button mashy than before, requiring you to kind of use the new abilities and techniques to disperse large groups of enemies. It's quite incredible and a ton of fun, especially on harder difficulties. Overall, the fluidity of Spider-Man's movements combined with the incredibly fast load times on the PS5 ensures a really seamless experience. A fresh load in from this game is like 10 seconds. Load times are almost non-existent, and just from top to bottom, the optimization in Spider-Man 2 is absolutely incredible. And next up on the list, I want to quickly mention the DualSense controller's haptic feedback really shines in this game, making every swing and every punch feel incredibly immersive. Insomniac always seems to nail this. I felt Ratchet & Clank used the controller's features really well too. I really appreciate the effort put into this because you kind of forget how cool the DualSense controller actually is until a developer comes out with a game and makes it shine in ways other games haven't. Most games will do the absolute minimum and you'll feel like kind of the resistance on the triggers, but there's so much more that this controller does in terms of the haptic feedback, how the controller handles vibrations, and various other things. Spider-Man 2 takes a full advantage of the controller and its feature set. Really cool, and definitely want to give a shout out to Insomniac for that. Last on the list of kind of upgrades to Spider-Man 2 over the first one, and that is traversal and the infamous wingsuit. One of my favorite things about Insomniac's take on Spider-Man is the amount of fun I have with traversal, and they outdid themselves this time around, adding new ways to traverse the city, the biggest of which is absolutely the wingsuit. Flying through New York City in a wingsuit and swapping between swinging and flying and stringing them together is likely to be the most fun way to get from point A to point B in any game I've ever played. There will be wind tunnels to fly through, and I can't give enough praise to how well this is executed. You kind of just have to feel it and and play it for yourself. Seeing it in trailers and seeing it in gameplay videos is just not the same. Also, if you want a real challenge, just to throw this out there, in the settings, you can turn off swing assist and turn on fall damage, and you'll realize just how difficult it can be to be Spider-Man. It's actually hilariously difficult. So if you really want a good laugh, go into settings, turn those things off, and have a good time falling to your death repeatedly. So overall, in conclusion, Spider-Man 2 on PS5 is not just another Spider-Man game. It's a brand new experience that pushes the boundaries of what's possible. Like I said before, I did worry that Spider-Man 2 is just going to be Spider-Man 1 with a new story and a couple of new features. I felt a little bit of that in the new God of War Ragnarok, where I went straight from replaying God of War into God of War Ragnarok, and I felt a lot of the same. Don't get me wrong, I love both those games, but I really wanted Spider-Man 2 to kind of up the ante a bit and add a lot of new things into it. And I feel like they did for the most part. I feel like this experience is better in every single possible way. As I'm making my way through the game, I'll be posting gameplay videos and eventually a review, so be sure to look out for that. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like. Let me know in the comments below what you like most about Spider-Man 2. Anyways, until next time, I'm out.